Hi, 7th grade. Welcome to lesson 3.3, represent and use the percent equation. By the end of the lesson, I want you to be able to say, I can represent and solve percent problems using equations. Let's solve and discuss it. Fran is shopping for a new pair of shoes. She did some research and has narrowed down the options of the two pairs she likes the most. Based on buyers' reviews, which pair do you recommend that she buy? Explain your thinking. Well, the green and blue ones have a 19 out of 25. Remember, our whole equation that we've been using is part over whole equals percent over 100. So we can always set up our proportion, and that 100 always goes on the bottom. 19 out of 25, that's going to give me 19 on the part and 25 on the whole. I don't know what the percent is, so I'm going to work to find that. Let's set up the pink and purple ones as well. Same thing, I get my 100 for free. It's 99 out of 132, and we'll put our percent at the top. So I want you guys to pause the video and solve this on your own to see if she should buy the green and blue ones or the red and purple ones. Okay, so hopefully you cross multiplied. 19 times 100 gives us 19,000. 25 times p gives us 25p. We are working to get that p by itself. 25 is bugging it by being multiplied. So we have to divide both sides by 25. So 19,000 divided by 25 equals p equals 760. You know? And then I checked myself, 760, that doesn't make sense as a percentage. And I see, and I hope someone caught it, 19 times 100 is only 1900. So then 1900 divided by 25 is only 76%. That makes more sense. All right, the next one. Cross multiply 99 times 100. Well, we won't make that mistake again. Equals 9,900. 132 times p equals 132p. The p is bothering, so we are going to divide by p on both sides. Oh, I'm sorry, divide by 132 on both sides. So p equals 99 times 100, 9,900 divided by 132. There we go. P equals 75. Must have pressed the wrong button in my calculator. So, based on this, based on the reviews, even though they're really close, she should pick the green ones, green and blue. Describe another situation in which you could use ratios to make a decision. You could look at restaurant reviews. I'm sure we can think of more restaurant reviews. We did percents when we did like sale prices. We could also do it comparing like attendance. If you see like in a percent increase or decrease in how many people show up. All right, example number 1. Find the percent. In science class, students compared their vertical reach and their height to see if they are proportional. Maria is 60 inches tall and can reach 75 inches high. What percent her total vertical reach is her height? So use proportional relationship reasoning to develop the percent equation. Now, the percent equation comes from our part over whole equals percent over 100. That percent over 100 you could always divide, and it's just a percent, and it's usually like a decimal. So if it was 75 over 100, that'd be like 0.75. So what they did was they moved things around, and they said, I want to get the part by itself. So in order to get the part by itself, they had to get rid of the whole. So they multiplied by the whole on both sides. It cancels out over on the left. So the part equals the percent times the whole. So this equation is not something you have to memorize because you can always default back to setting up your proportions. But just to show the example, her height is 60. We don't know the percent, that's what we're trying to find, and her vertical reach is 75. So if we're trying to find P, we're going to divide by 75 on both sides. 75s cancel, and we're left with 0.80. But 0.80 is not a percent. We need to move that decimal twice, and it's 80% of her vertical reach. I'm going to prove to you that you can still use the part over whole equals percent over 100. So her part was 60. Her whole was 75. The percent we didn't know, but we know percent is always over 100. So we cross multiply. 60 times 100 is 6,000. P times 75 is 75P. Divide by 75 on both sides. And that gives you P equals 80. I'm a much bigger fan of using the proportional reasoning. It leaves less room for error, and then you don't have to think about converting, moving the decimal at the end. Try it. An elephant weighs 1,500 pounds on Earth and 2,500 pounds on the moon. Assuming the weights are proportional, what percent of its weight on the Earth is the weight on the moon? So they already have it set up, blank times P, or P times 1,500 equals blank. So I'm sure we can figure out that 2,500 goes in here. Trying to solve for P, so we'll put our 2,500 back in. But the 15,000 is bugging it. So we're going to divide by 1,500. So we do 2,500 divided by 15,000 equals 0.16 repeating. So then to find that percent, remember you got to move the decimal twice. So the weight on the moon is about 17% of its weight on the Earth because it's 16.6 repeating. I just rounded that to 17%. How does the percent describe how the weights are related? It shows the part divided by the whole. So again, you can use the percent equation, or you can just use your proportional reasoning. Example 2, find the part. So here it's where we know the percent and we know the whole, but we don't know the part. So we're still using this equation that they're giving us, or we can use our proportional relationships. Many states have a meal tax that is proportional to the total spent on food and beverages. In one state, the meal tax is 8.44%. How much tax will a customer pay if the food and beverages total $54? So we see our percent, and the total is our whole. So we don't know the part, that's T, but we put in 8.44%, changing that to a decimal, so moving the decimal place twice and multiplying it by the total. Again, I'm going to show you our part over whole equals percent over 100. We don't know what the part is, but we know the whole is 54. Our percent is 8.44, and it's always over 100. So we cross multiply. I've got x times 100 is going to give us 100x equals, and then we do 54 times 8.44, which is 455.76. Then we divide both sides by 100, and x equals 4.5576, which is exactly what they got. I would almost prefer you guys to stick with this method of the proportional reasoning. We're just starting to get the hang of it, and it is the most foolproof way. You can use it for everything. But again, using the percent equation, we can find the whole. Jane earns 5.5%. Remember, 5.5% is equal to 0.055 when we put it in the equation. She earned $9,020 in commission. So that's not the total she made. It was just her commission on the sale of a home. So that's going to be her part. What was the selling price of the home? So we know the part is $9,020, or 0.055. Solve for H. We got to get rid of that 0.055. So we divide it out. So I'll show you with our proportional reasoning. Part is $9,020. We don't know how much the house sold for. We know she makes 5.5 and it's always out of 100. Cross multiply. That gives me 902000 equals 5.5x. Trying to get x by itself, so I divide by 5.5. So that leaves me with x equals 164,000. So again, it works. Try it. To make a profit, a clothing store sells jeans at 115% of the amount they paid for them. So again, if I were to move the decimal twice, that would be 1.15 in our equation. How much did the store pay for the jeans shown? Now, it's showing me here. Don't forget to look at the picture because it's showing me that the jeans are $28. That's how much they sold them for. That's not the total that they paid for them. So that is going to be our part. So using the equation, part equals percent times whole. Our part is 28. Our percent, when you change it to a decimal, is 1.15, and we don't know what the whole is. So we divide by 1.15. So 28 divided by 1.15 equals 24.35, which makes sense because they always want to sell for more than they bought it for. Let's try it our way, the proportional relationships. So I know 115 always goes over 100. They sold it for 28. We don't know what they're selling it for. So I cross multiply. 28 times 100, 28,000. 115 times W is 115W. Divide by 115. Divide by 115. And I get same answer, 24.35. Now it's 24.3478261, but I rounded to make sense in money. All right, 7th grade, let's say it. Oops, too far. I can represent and solve percent problems using equations. Have a great day.